Hey, what's going on, Heights Church? Pastor Bronson here, and we're going to continue in our Summit Up series, and we are in July. It's crazy to think that we're already in July. But I want to stop and pause for a moment and talk about the thread that we're in. And this is our thread. Devoted followers of Jesus talk about who Jesus is and why they want to follow him, which Jesus modeled for us. Now, today, I have the honor of bringing to you part of scripture as we find in the book of Luke, chapter 24. And it's called The Walk to Emmaus. And those of you who have read this, you've probably read it multiple times. And I could go through the story and read it all the way through 13. It looks like through 34, but I don't have enough time to do that. And I want to just point out a few things that I find very, very interesting. Because in today's Devo, we are looking at how Jesus actually modeled what it looked like to be a devoted follower of God. And now we look at this moment, and it's about these two people walking to Emmaus, and suddenly Jesus appears, but doesn't show his own identity of who he is. Now you may be sitting here thinking to yourself, as a devoted follower of Jesus, and Jesus is supposed to model what that looks like, he is not revealing himself to two people who are talking about what all had just happened and or transpired. Now I just want to stop and pause for a moment and say this. In the beginning of this story, that is the truth. But oftentimes we miss towards the middle of the story. And I think it's so important that we point this out. This is how Jesus modeled what a devoted follower actually looked like. And here we find ourselves in verse 27. It says this, "Then Jesus took them through the writings of Moses and all the prophets, explaining from all the scriptures the things concerning himself." Here's what I want to point out in today's Summit Up Devo, and this is very simple. We see Jesus going back to the scriptures. What does it look like to be a devoted follower of Jesus? It looks like getting into the scriptures. It looks like confirming what we know of God, but be reminded from the scriptures of who he is, what he's doing, where he's going, our identity, what it looks like to follow him. He looks back into the scriptures. And I want to just take a moment and say this really easily. If we're struggling with where we are at currently, if we're struggling on our walk, on our normal 7-mile walk, we can look into scriptures just as Jesus did and find the path, find the reality, and find the truth. Guys, Jesus modeled it for us plain and simple. He looked back in the scriptures and pointed out everything. I hope this has been as good for you as it has been for me.